What's good, y'all? It's your boy Sean Peter Bluff Guy. Hey! And we are back with another One Piece chapter reaction. Today we will be reacting to chapter 1068, A Genius Dream. Now, before we get into that, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Comment down below your thoughts on the chapter, your thoughts on the reaction. Let me know in the comments. Also, follow me on Twitch so you can catch me live and you can engage with me in real time. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and make sure you become part of the Discord so you can engage with me. That's where I'm the most active at, right? Also, you can send me stuff to react to in the Discord, or just let me know what you would like to see, what kind of content you would like to see moving forward. But anyway, y'all know why we are here today. We are reacting to One Piece chapter 1068, and the title of this chapter is A Genius Dream. Now, without any further ado, let's get into the chapter. All right, starting off on the cover page, we got One Piece chapter 1068, A Genius Dream. So we see what it looks like Caesar and Judge were both fighting, and while fighting, you could see they were both thinking of Dr. Vegapunk. Like, you don't see Vegapunk's full body. You just see from under his nose down. So you see like the tongue. It's the only reason why you could tell it's Vegapunk, because that tongue, right? You also see two silhouettes behind him, which I'm assuming is Judge and Caesar. You know, they look a little like, suspicious. Like they looking at him with malice, so it's kind of make me think, like, seeing how you got these two scientists fighting, right? And now they're both thinking of Vegapunk, and it kind of looking like a negative way, right? It doesn't look like they're thinking of it in a positive way. Maybe their negative opinion or their negative view on Vegapunk might be like a common bond that make them actually work with each other. So yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking their hatred, their potential hatred towards Vegapunk might actually bring them together, and I'm hoping this leads to a actual Vegapunk reunion with them two as well, because it's just odd. Like right now we're in the Egghead Island arc right now, and now it's like we're starting to wrap up this cover story with Caesar and the Vinsmokes, right? And I feel as though Oda been waiting. That's kind of why he been stretching out this whole cover story, because we've been in this cover story since the Wano arc, right? And now we're still in this cover story, but now ever since we've been to Egghead Island, we're starting to get more of the Mads aspect of the cover story. Like the cover story started in Whole Cake Island, and it was about the Vinsmokes being captured by the Big Mom pirates, and then somebody arrives at the island that we assume was the Vinsmokes, even though they were at the island as well. But it turned out to be Blackbeard and not Blackbeard, but it turned out to be Kizaru and Von Augur, right? Who we learn has the teleportation fruit. So we got a little bit. It's weird because in this one cover story, we got like two parallel stories, pretty much intersecting in this cover story. We got Blackbeard taking Pudding, right? We also got some Blackbeard action with him on Amazon Lily, and him fighting Law. Him encountering Law and his crew. Now, we got the whole Judge and Caesar during the parts where we're getting Vegapunk. So, hey, I really like how this cover story is really like connecting with everything that we got going on in the story as well. I just hope there's something that comes from it leading into the main story, and then we'll be good. It says German 66 Cold Blooded Voyage Volume 25. Two former members of Mads reunited. Like I've been saying, we getting this whole Mads reunion, baby. But I wonder if Judge remembers Caesar. Like if he eventually, because Caesar remembered Judge, but Judge was kind of like, "Who are you again?" You know, somebody pointed out to me that Caesar probably was like a kid at this time, so maybe that's why Judge didn't remember him. But we see Judge fighting Caesar, so are unless they're fighting each other because they know Vegapunk. So I don't know if they're fighting each other because of the connection to Vegapunk, or if they were fighting and then they start thinking of Vegapunk, and that's what's going to kind of bring them together. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Let's get into the chapter. All right, so we see Pythagoras, and he says, "We appreciate Cypherpole going to the effort of returning the Seraphim, but S-Bear can make its own way from here." Okay, so that's what they're calling him, S-Bear. S-Bear. I mean, it makes sense because Kuma is based off of a bear, so maybe that's why they're calling him Bear. I don't know what the Seraphim Bear, I guess. You know, maybe Boa is like Seraphim Snake, and then Mihawk is like S. So like Boa is like S Snake, Seraphim Snake. Mihawk is S Bird, S Hawk or something. Seraphim Hawk. I don't know. It's just interesting. Like I'm assuming that's like them giving them these nicknames that's kind of in line with the animal the character is based on, you know. And then I'm assuming this is Pythagoras still speaking over like the Dendemushi. It says, "I regrettably won't be able to greet you in person. It's been so busy lately. Please just order it to return to the island. You can consider your mission complete. Thanks again for all your hard work." So this is Pythagoras talking to CP0. And we get a little older quote. It says, "How will CP0 respond?" And then Lucci, we see Lucci with the bird, and then Kaku with his mask, his little bearded mask. And Lucci, you know, he doesn't say nothing. And I think this is Kaku speaking. He says, "That's not exactly a warm welcome." And then Lucci is thinking, so he has his suspicions. And then Kaku says, "It's been a long journey. Can't we at least pop in for some tea? It's so chilly out here." I'm surprised they not just pulling like this. Look, we coming in, bro. Like, chill. What are you talking about? We coming in. We here to stay. We not asking. And then Pythagoras says, "G14 is not too far. They're sure to greet you a great reception." And then Lucci says, "Dr. Vegapunk, I presume." And then Pythagoras says, "Yes." And then I'm assuming it's still Lucci. He says, "Do you have any comment on all the recent disappearances at Egghead?" Disappearances. All the recent disappearances at Egghead. There's been some disappearances going on at Egghead. I wonder where we're going with this. Disappearances. Pythagoras says, disappearances. What do you mean?" So Pythagoras doesn't seem to understand what Lucci is talking about, unless they're just making something up to use as a excuse to get in the door. Like, hey, we're also investigating, so you know we're coming in. You know, like that's what it could be. That's what Lucci could be trying to pull. And I'm assuming this is Rob Lucci talking. He says 2 months ago, a CP5 vessel went missing. A month later, one of CP7's vanished too. And just 2 weeks back, it was a CP8 ship. Yeah, this is looking like it's gonna be CP0's foot in the door. Like, look, we gotta figure out what's going on. So you gotta let us in, bro. We also came to investigate. But the question is Rob Lucci just lying just to get his foot in the door, or has there really been some disappearances going on with Vegapunk where he's like, because we know when the Straw Hats got to Egghead Island, we had Lilith pretty much, like Lilith was guarding the coast with the sea monsters, right? So maybe every time CP, like one of the Cypher Pole units come along, like Lilith and those sea monsters destroy the ships and salvage them, you know. Kind of like how Lilith greeted the Straw Hats. That's what we can be getting. We could be getting that. And then Lucci says, why hasn't a single government ship made it back? After visiting you in the last 2 months. And then this might be Pythagoras. I'm thinking this is Pythagoras. He says, what? Is that really true? I can assure you we all remember seeing those ships depart safely. Lilith grabs the Den Den Mushi and says, just where are you getting at? Out with it already. You think we sunk those ships, don't you? And then Pythagoras says, Lilith, don't antagonize them. And Lilith continues, I've got half a mind to let you dock so you can see for yourself. And then I think this Pythagoras, he says, that's even worse. Lilith continues, regardless, we can't let you in. Please turn back. And then Lucci says, very well, understood. And then we got the bird say, cuckoo. And then they hang up, jack. Bruh, I wonder if that bird could fight. Like, what if Rob Lucci's bird is really like somebody else? Like, what if, like, this whole time, I feel as though I might have seen a theory where somebody theorized that Rob Lucci's bird is like a person with like maybe a bird devil fruit, you know. But I would think if it was, why didn't he interfere in Rob Lucci's fight with Luffy, back in this lobby, like, hey, I'm really this guy, so I can't let you defeat Rob Lucci. We must succeed at this mission. I don't know. I don't know why that just popped in my head. So Kaku asks, what now, Lucci? And then Rob Lucci says, prepare to abandon ship. And they say, huh? We'll infiltrate using S-Bear's ability. S-Bear's... So that's his name, S-Bear, or S-Bear. I wonder what his ability is. Because I thought somebody said that he didn't have an ability. I don't remember. But I wonder what S-Bear's abilities are. Does he have like Kuma-like abilities? Can he, touch you, beat, make you go somewhere else? I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious what this ability is. It must be like an invisible ability. Something that's meant for infiltrating. I don't know. Maybe you create like an invisible force field to where they're all invisible. I am intrigued. And then Rob Lucci says a direct assault would always end in those sea beasts making a meal of this ship anyway. And they say, understood. So it cuts to the Grand Line, and we're at the Kami Baka Kingdom. And someone screams, Kuma, stop. Wait there. I'm assuming that's Ivankov for the accent. And then we see the Kuma Pacifista unit ripping off his those things like the wiring and the cables attached to him. And they said, Kuma-san. And there's someone's painting. They said, where are you going? And we see Kuma reach his hand out. Oh. So Kuma pulls out the paw. He pulls out the paw. And all of a sudden, poof, he's gone. We just see all the cables and the equipment that was attached to him fall, and he just disappears. And then Dragon says, Kuma. So from last chapter, I kind of assumed that if anybody could get to Egghead Island immediately, right? Immediately. You know, because there's been speculation that the revolutionaries, the dragon, all these guys are going to go to Egghead Island. But, you know, and I said, you know, and I thought, hey, you know, they do have Kuma there. So if there is a way to bring in the Revs to Egghead Island, it would be Kuma, right? But Kuma didn't take them. Kuma just disappeared on his own. Now, we don't know if he's going to Egghead Island for sure, but bro, like, I mean, where else is he going to go? Where else is Kuma going? Where else is he going to go? One, Jory Bonnie's at Egghead Island. His Seraphim is at Egghead Island. He's already connected with Vegapunk as well. So if he's going to go anywhere, it would have to be Egghead Island. It's just, you know, I don't see where else he would go, but he's going somewhere. He is going somewhere. I just don't know why he's going to, you know, what he would be going to Egghead Island for, or what's calling him to Egghead Island. We're back at Junkyard Egghead, and then I think this is Luffy speaking. He says, you want to leave with us, old timer? How come isn't this your lab? And the Vegapunk says, it is. And up till now, I've been happy to spend every berry the government has given to fund my research. New ideas continue to pour out of me, of course. Unfortunately, I'm still limited by time, money, and manpower. I persevere because I wish to change the world with my science. And then we get a close-up of Vegapunk, and he says, I want to make a world where free energy is available to all. So yeah, we kind of knew Vegapunk been talking a lot about this energy, the eternal flame, the source, the fact that some of his inventions can't really come to fruition without this source. So yeah, I think he's been making it apparent that whatever this source is, or whatever this unlimited energy is, it's pretty pretty important, right? Because he keeps talking about this energy. He want to give energy to everybody, right? Why does Vegapunk want to give energy to everybody? Is this an idea that he got from somewhere else? Possibly the Void Century? You know, because we know Vegapunk has all that information he read from Ohara in his head. So I think this need to get for this source, or this eternal flame that he's been talking about, I think he got that from the Void Century. Like, think he got this idea from the Void Century. So again, is this unlimited energy, this source, could this be the One Piece? You know, because we know this source could potentially make him able to share his brain with the world. That'd be one way to connect the world as well. Hey, whatever this source is or this unlimited energy is, I think it could be the answer to a lot of problems. And just off of that reason, I believe that it can indeed be the One Piece potentially. Luffy says, huh? Vegapunk says, you clearly aren't following. And then Luffy says, basically, you want to give stuff away to everyone. Yo, you gotta love what Luffy, when Monkey D. Luffy oversimplifies something. You gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. He ain't wrong, though. I mean, you know, he oversimplified it, but he ain't wrong. He does want to give stuff away to everyone. And Jinbei says, nations often wage war over the natural resources we need to generate energy. And then Vegapunk says, precisely, people can be short-sighted. If they'd only open their eyes, there's energy all around us. Are we talking hockey? Is hockey this energy? Like, I don't know. I'm just spitballing. Bro, like Vegapunk, brother, Vegapunk is really making me think this energy thing he keep talking about could be the One Piece, bro. Like we know Vegapunk is a key character, you know what I'm saying, to give us a hint to some very important things, you know, because he knows a lot of historic things. So I'm just saying, man. And then Vegapunk says, the world is teeming with it. The world is teeming with it. And then we see Vegapunk in this epic pose where he's like looking like kind of big over Luffy. And he says, if that raw power can be converted to a more apparent and accessible form, we never see another conflict spark up over it again. I'm certain science will make that possible someday. Bruh. Vegapunk is looking real straw hattish right now. He got a dream. When we look at all the straw hats and all like their prerequisites of becoming straw hats, one thing they all have is a dream. You know, we got Luffy, Pirate King, Zoro, strongest pirate, Sanji, all blue, Nami, selling the world and creating a map, mapping the whole world. Usopp, brave warrior to sea. Robin, learning the true history of the world. Frankie, creating a ship that travels the whole world, like Roger's ship that Tom made. Brooke, reuniting with Laboon. Chopper, being able to heal everybody. I think I said everybody. I think I said all of them. Jinbei don't. I guess Jinbei could be like more of a. I don't think Jinbei ever explicitly said what his dream is, but I would think it has something to do with equality or something. I don't know. I'm just because Jinbei kind of is a unique straw hat because he kind of joined because Luffy because it's like a debt he owed Luffy. He didn't really join off of a dream. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember Jinbei having any explicit dream. I would think if he does have a dream, it has something to do with like equality for fishermen or something, right? So, but I don't remember him explicitly stating like a major dream like the other Straw Hats. But man, Vegapunk is looking like he might be a Straw Hat. Like, you know, he got a dream that he wants to get this energy and share all this unlimited energy and talking about it's stopping wars and stuff, bro. And bruh, this energy, like the more he talks though, the more I'm really starting to believe. I'm starting to believe that the One Piece could be this unlimited energy source. You know, I'm really believing it. I'm really believing it. So bro, Luffy picking his nose. He just, bro, Luffy is not. And this is what I'm talking about, bro. When I was saying, when I was saying people who could benefit from Vegapunk, and I always question Luffy. I'm like, I don't think Vegapunk has anything for Luffy. This is why, because Luffy, if you teach him something, like if you go in depth about, because a lot of people say he could learn about awakening or haki or whatever, I don't know, or about devil fruits. Luffy doesn't really have interest in stuff like this. Luffy's like, and Vegapunk says, you still don't care? Bro, come on, man. Come on. Luffy doesn't care about stuff. He doesn't care about the specifics of things. But Luffy says, nah, it's great you want to make people happy. I've got no interest in being a hero, though. Also, I still don't get why you want to leave. And then Vegapunk says, that's the thing. My quest to further my understanding of energy. So I would have figured he would have wanted to leave because the world government had no use of him no more. And he might have known that. Okay, all right, okay, Oda. You know, I'm not questioning you, Oda. I just, you know, I thought since he knew he was about to die, he had an idea that the world government was going to try to kill him. So it was like, hey, let's get out of here. But he says, my quest to further my understanding of energy led me to investigating the ancient fuel that powered this mechanical soldier. The ancient fuel. The ancient fuel. The One Piece? The One Piece? Is that what we talk about? The One Piece? He continues, my curious nature as a scientist compelled me to take a peek. Imagine how much we'd learn if the forbidden thread of history was unraveled. After a dear friend of mine died, I found myself diving even further or even deeper into the abyss to further his will. Dr. Clover. I'm assuming Dr. Clover is who he's talking about. Dr. Clover studied the Void Century. If, maybe Dr. Clover wanted to have this energy as well, Vegapunk is trying to continue that will. Makes sense. And then we see an explosion behind, it's behind Jinbei. And they say, what? Luffy says, huh? And Vegapunk just watches. Next page. Vegapunk says, in short, I know too much. And now the government wants to erase me. Just like Ohara. And Luffy says, what? And then Vegapunk says, that ruckus must be Cypher Pole Zero. And then Luffy says 0. So Luffy is unaware of Cypher Pole 0. Like the only interaction he had was when the one, I think is Guernica or whatever his name is. I think it was stated in the SBS or something, or like some drawing. Guernica interrupted his fight with Kaido. But I don't think he was aware that it was CP0. But we do got Vegapunk finally, coming out saying, yeah, the world government's trying to erase me. I know too much. And I know they know I know too much. So I know they want to get rid of me. So I guess Vegapunk says, I think this is Vegapunk because it could be Jinbei, says CP0 is the direct subordinates of the Celestial Dragons. And then Luffy says, what? Aren't they called CP9? And then Jinbei says, CP0 is a division that stands above the rest. They say their members have historically been harbingers harbingers of catastrophe. And then we see Rob Lucci leading Kaku and Stussy and Esper. And Kaku says, "Golly, it truly is a city of the future. I can hardly contain myself." Uh-oh. So if they're at that explosion, if we got Rob Lucci in CP0 at that explosion, and that explosion seemed pretty close to Luffy, Jinbei, Vegapunk, and Chopper, it's looking like they're going to intercept CP0, and it's not going to be like Zoro and Brook. It looked like they're closer to Luffy. We getting a rematch with Luffy and Rob Lucci. I know this ain't a rematch a lot of people want, man. I don't think a lot of people want this rematch. Just saying. Now we got some of the people who work on the island. They said Cypher Po agents. Don't they usually wear black suits? They didn't come through the normal port. And then I guess the people were talking, "Hey, did you guys hear about the 2 weaponized sea beasts that were taken out near the coast?" Okay, so this is some of the other workers speaking to the other workers. And then someone says, "Don't tell me they're intruders." And now we're back at the Sanji's Straw Hat group, or Shaka and Sanji's Straw Hat group. And Pythagoras says, "Shaka, CP0 are on the island." And then Shaka says, "How did they bypass the port?" And then you got Usopp screaming, "Gaia, they're here. You're the worst." And then Nami says, "You're the worst, Rob Lucci. Stay away." And then we see on screen those sea beasts. They're destroying the world government ship. And then Pythagoras says they must have realized that rejecting our request would inevitably result in the sea beasts consuming their ship. So yeah, we see the sea beasts destroying the world government ship. And Pythagoras says, so they let it happen and used the Seraphim's paw powers to land instead. They use Esper, huh? We have no choice then. The sacrifice of their ship shows their resolve to fight. It's been confirmed, y'all. It's been confirmed. I kind of figured this. Somebody was telling me, "Oh, the Seraphim don't have devil fruit abilities," but the Esper, the Kuma Seraphim, does indeed have Kuma's devil fruit powers. It's confirmed that Esper has paw abilities. Like I said, hey, I know it makes sense, bro. It makes sense because the Esper is a Seraphim, or you could I believe to be what, like a clone, a genetic clone of Kuma. Vegapunk also has shown that he can replicate devil fruit abilities. He could recreate whole devil fruits. And this ain't just based on what Jinbei having senior paint like devil fruit abilities. What's the name? Momonosuke. He has he ate the devil fruit that Vegapunk created, copied from Kaido. So it would make sense that he would be able to replicate Kuma's abilities as well, especially since he spent so much time with Kuma. So it just makes sense. He spent so much time with Kuma, so he was able to recreate Kuma's abilities. And who better to give Kuma's abilities to than the Kuma Seraphim? Shaka says, evacuate the researchers and workers. Atlas, make your way back to the lab. Okay, what is Atlas gonna do? Is Atlas about to throw some hands? Because Atlas seemed like she's probably one of the stronger Vegapunk units. Because I think that's her her epithet is wrath. I think, right, and she says her job is violence. So just assuming her job is like the fight or some level of like fighting. I guess she's gonna be the fighter for Vegapunk. So Shaka says, prepare the Seraphim. We're deploying is S Snake, Boa, S Hawk, Mihawk, and S Shark Jinbei. So I'm assuming because last time we seen the Seraphim, the S Snake and S Hawk, right? Assuming that's Mihawk and Boa, those were the ones at Amazon Lily, which that was a flashback during the Wano arc. So after they left, I guess they took them back to Egghead Island, and they're pretty much back with. So I thought because I would have guessed that S Snake, S Boa would have been in the possession of the world government. So this is kind of weird, bro. Like, why would the world government be fighting against the guy with their seraphim? Why would they try to kill the guy who's in possession of all the seraphim? They're trying to kill, like, at least get the seraphim from this guy first and then kill him. It's like you're breaking into somebody with a armory of guns in their home. And the Seraphim are the reason why you got rid of the Shichibukai. So y'all don't even have the world government doesn't even have possession of the Seraphim right now. And they're doing all this stuff. Like, it seems like they're cutting their source from the Seraphim. Unless the world government can control the Seraphim, like they can call them and be like, look, you're ours, so you come help us. But if it's like Vegapunk has to give them permission, now that he know that they're trying to kill him, he's not going to give them permission to the Seraphim. And they're stuck with Vegapunk, not the world government. Okay. If that's what you're going to do. And then it says, entrust their command to Sitamaru. Roger. So Sitamaru is at the island? And if Sitamaru is going to have command over these Seraphim, how do you trust Sitamaru isn't going to go with CP0 and take the Seraphim with him? Sitamaru is part of the Marines, if I remember correctly. I don't know if I'd be giving Sitamaru control over these Seraphim. I don't think I would. Especially if the world government doesn't have control over the Seraphim. Why would you give Sitamaru the I don't know, man. I do not know what is going on. What's good, Q? He says, just hopping on currently at a party. Happy to see you back, bro. Appreciate it. And they said low-key Sitamaru might be more loyal to Vegapunk than the Marines. I don't know. If Kizaru is Sitamaru's uncle, I think he would be loyal to his uncle more than Vegapunk. And he said he was employed by Vegapunk before becoming a Marine. Yeah. But the question is, how did he get employed by Vegapunk? Was it like the world government hired him to protect Vegapunk? And then eventually they asked him to become Marines? Because again, remember, he got a connection with Kizaru. Kizaru is loyal to the Marines. Just saying, man. Just saying. And then Vegapunk says, "Now then, will you take me out to sea? I won't need long to pack Quasar." And then Luffy says, "We're not going on a field trip, old timer. Your sudden disappearance would definitely qualify as a catastrophe." I think that Jinbei said that. And then Luffy says, "I'll allow it though, since you've got a funny head." Bro, you gotta love Luffy's reasoning, bro. Like, not because he's just trying to help him. He's just like, "Hey man, I like your head, bro. I like your head." And then Chopper says, "You call that a screening process?" Right? And Vegapunk says, "Then let's head up. This place will soon be a battlefield. Would you mind bringing Bonnie with you to Lab Stratum above the clouds?" And I'm assuming it's Luffy. He says, "Sure, no worries." So we see Vegapunk like phasing away. So I'm assuming he's teleporting, bro. Vegapunk with this teleportation, bro. Come on now. He says, "Well then, see you up there." So I guess he can't take people with him. And then Luffy says, "What?" He vanished. Apple Gramps. Oh, so that's gonna be Luffy's nickname for Vegapunk. Apple Gramps. And then somebody says, "All this futuristic tech is really messing with my head." I don't know if that's Jinbei or Chopper or Luffy. And so we see CP0, and we see that little dragon that was in the thing, but it's like light. It's a projection. But knowing how Vegapunk's technology works, maybe that dragon can actually be physical. You know, maybe it can actually attack you. You know what I'm saying? And then somebody said, "Wow, there's a space monster." And we seen them like shooting at this dragon, this alien dragon, and Rob Lucci and Kaku standing like pretty much going head to head with it. Next page. So yeah, the CP the other Cypherpole agents, they're shooting at this thing, and they say, "Our guns aren't working." And the Kaku says, "I've always wanted to take a swing at an unworldly beast like this. You must be a genuine space monster." And then Kaku goes for a Tempest kick. And Stussy says, "Don't bother. It's a hologram. You could have told us sooner." So hold on. How does Stussy know? How does Stussy know? There's two things. There's two things I can assume, and we might get the answer in a little bit. But there's two reasons why Stussy might know. There's three. There's three reasons. The third reason that I just kind of came up with is probably maybe Stussy is just smart and just deducted it. Maybe Stussy just like, yeah, I don't think that's real. I don't think it's that one though, because unless Stussy's just like some like crazy smart deductory person, you know what I'm saying? That's not even a word, but I just just said that. May Second reason, maybe Stussy been to Egghead Island before, undercover, right? Undercover. You know, we know Stussy has been undercover before, so maybe Stussy's been there before. You know, through her many ventures being undercover. Third, maybe it's a devil fruit. Maybe Stussy has a devil fruit that allows her to see through stuff like this. You know what I mean? I would assume it would be like a devil fruit similar to Viola, where it's like give you some level of clairvoyance, or a fourth a fourth like reason or thing it could be is maybe Stussy has a unique observation hockey ability. You know, maybe she has some level of observation hockey that allows her to see through facades like this. You know, that Rob Lucci and Kaku doesn't have. And the reason why I say she has a unique thing, because I would think that Rob Lucci and Kaku does have observation hockey to a degree. It's just maybe hers is, maybe she has some type of awakening for her observation hockey to where she can see if something is real or not. I don't know. Kaku says, "You're as well versed as ever, Stussy." And then Stussy says, "Yeah, this takes me back." Okay, so I'm starting to think that she just been to Egghead Island before, so you know, that's because she says it takes her back. So maybe it's like a memory of being at Egghead Island. And then Kaku, we see him like skywalking, and he says, "I'm going to pop up and take a look-see above the cloud. If Vegapunk's around, he'll be up there." And then Stussy says, "Those two lines on the cloud, can you see them, Lucci?" And then Rob Lucci says, "Yeah." So I'm starting to think that Stussy has been to Egghead Island before. Stussy continues, when an enemy target crosses those lines, and we see Kaku above like a grid. It looked like a grid. And he says, And then we hear a beep and then an explosion. Like Kaku is like a explosion by Kaku sets off. And it said, and I'm assuming this is still Stussy talking. It says, a laser beam is triggered to neutralize the threat. So yeah, it's like a grid, and when you pass this grid, you know, it's like a defensive thing. And she says it's a deterrent system that covers the entire lab stratum. They call it the Frontier Dome. Yeah, so it's really seemed like Stussy been to Egghead Island, or she just has some devil fruit where she just knows things. I don't know. But it's weird that Stussy didn't warn Kaku of any of this. She just allowed Kaku to go experience while she tells Rob Lucci all this stuff. Like she didn't say, "Hey Kaku, wait." And then Kaku just continues, and then she didn't even attempt to warn the man Kaku not to do it. She's just like, go ahead. I'm gonna let it whatever happens. If he dies, he dies. If he dies, he dies. And the other Cypher Pole agents are saying, "Kaku-san." And then Stussy says, "Moral of the story is it's unwise to underestimate the world's greatest scientists." And then Lucci says, "You should really mention this kind of intel beforehand, right?" And then we see Kaku right behind Stussy. He says, "You're a piece of work, Stussy." And then Stussy says, he. Well, at least you're not chilly anymore, right? Yo, Stussy is a troll. Stussy is a troll. She just gonna laugh at him and troll my mans. Now we got Atlas. She's running right towards CP0. And she says, "Hey, what's the big idea?" And then Rob Lucci says, And then Atlas says, "I'm the only one allowed to rampage on Egghead. Or I'm the only one allowed to rampage on Egghead." Dr. Atlas, so I think this is Stussy, says, "Dr. Atlas." And then Stussy says, "Atlas, she's one of the Vegapunks." Bro, I'm getting a weird idea. I feel as though each Vegapunk is going. I think the Vegapunks might die. not the main Vegapunk, but I think all the other Vegapunks might get killed by CP0 one by one, and they're pretty much going to slow them down for the real Vegapunk and the Straw Hats to pretty much leave Egghead. But I think Atlas might be the first to go. Shaka says, "Wait, Atlas, wait. You don't stand a chance." And then Atlas winds up for a punch, says, "Ultra mighty punt." And then Rob Lucci says, "This isn't a game." And then Rob Lucci goes in for a 6-pistol or 6-king pistol. And I'm assuming he connects. Yeah, he connects. And then the other workers are saying, "Dr. Atlas." And then Kaku says, "He's showing no mercy." Of course, bro. Of course. Of course. Bro, I'm thinking it's going to be like each Vegapunk is going to die. Like, they're going to be destroyed. Like, they're going to try to stop CP0 from moving forward, and they're each going to sacrifice. I feel as though they might, or I believe they might each sacrifice themselves until the real Vegapunk escapes. All right, so we see Atlas's fake face crack. It's like cracked open. And we see Rob Lucci going for that. I forget what that attack is called. It's like a Raikugan or something like that. I can't remember what it was. It's the one where he puts his, he puts his fist like this and then sends like a shockwave through you. But when you look at Atlas's face, it definitely looks mechanical. So now I'm starting to believe that maybe all the Vegapunks are mechanical and not biological. Even though Vegapunk did say they were clones, at least Atlas looks pretty mechanical. Like you got like a mechanical body. Atlas or Pythagoras and Edison all seem like they're mechanical. So I think Lilith, Shaka, and York, they might be mechanical as well. Or they might be the organic ones. I don't know. But yeah, so Lucci does that that shot or that Raikugan. Y'all let me know what that attack is called. I can't remember what it was called. Like right to Atlas's face. And the lab workers are like, "Dr. Atlas." And then Dr. Atlas falls back. I don't know. Is Dr. Atlas done for sure, though? Is Atlas done for sure? The lab workers say Dr. Shaka has ordered us to evacuate. Everyone, retreat to the factory. We're under attack. And then Lucci says, "Looks like you're still breathing." And we see Luffy carrying Joribani over his shoulder. And he says, "Come on, let's head to the top with that vacuum rocket thing." So my question is, I don't know if Atlas is fully done. Like, I think Atlas is a little tougher than this, right? Because we see Atlas was able to actually punch Luffy and send Luffy fighting or flying. Even though Luffy doesn't seem like Luffy was going all out against Atlas either. Like, it wasn't like a fight. It's just Atlas punched Luffy, right? Because Luffy thought Atlas was fake. So Atlas hit Luffy. So Atlas hit Luffy as revenge. But Atlas seemed like, Atlas was pretty strong. So, hey, Rob Lucci's progression might have been pretty up there with Luffy's progression. Just saying. So now we see Luffy running with Joribani, and Luffy says, "Huh?" He's like passing Rob Lucci, And Rob Lucci notices and he says Straw Hat. And then Luffy says Pigeon Guy. And then we get a faithful reunion. One Piece chapter 1068 end. Oh. CP0 is in the house, y'all. CP0 is in the house. And they are causing all kinds of havoc. All kinds. So yeah, so starting off with this chapter, you know, we got the cover page, we got Judge and we got Caesar having a little scuffle. You know, they were fighting while at the same time remembering Dr. Vegapunk's face. So I'm thinking maybe their hatred for their potential hatred, because we don't know if they hate Vegapunk. I think they do, especially Caesar. At least Caesar has plenty of reason to hate Vegapunk. Even though Caesar was in the wrong, he was still kicked out by Vegapunk, right? Judge, we don't really know the nature of Judge and Vegapunk's relationship, but you could assume maybe since Vegapunk kind of left Mads, maybe Judge don't like him for that reason. I don't know. But yeah, seems like, you know, maybe their hatred to Vegapunk might unite them, or maybe their hatred toward maybe Vegapunk is why they hate each other. I don't know. Maybe that's why they're fighting, because of Vegapunk. I don't know. But so yeah. So we pretty much got CP0 trying to enter the Egghead Island. They're trying to enter Egghead Island, and Pythagoras is just like, hey, just order the Kuma S-Bear, because we find out that these Seraphim have names starting with S, and based on the animal that the Shichibukai they were cloned from, like whatever animal they're based off of, that's the name of the Seraphim, S Bear. Because later we learn that there's a S Hawk, S Snake, and S Shark. S Hawk being Mihawk, S Snake being Boa, S Shark being Jinbei. Right? Like we learned that's the names. I'm assuming the S is for a Seraphim though, right? And another thing, I thought that the Mihawk Seraphim, Boa Seraphim, I thought they would have been in possession by the world government or the Marines. But that's not the case. Vegapunk has them. You know, Vegapunk has them, which I'm thinking like, why would the world government be fighting Vegapunk or going to try to kill Vegapunk when Vegapunk has all the Seraphim? Like, Vegapunk literally created the Seraphim for the world government, so the world government didn't need a Shichibukai. So I would think that the world government would have possession of these Seraphim before they go trying to kill off the guy who has the Seraphim. It just doesn't make that much sense to me, right? It doesn't make that much sense to me. So anyway, Vegapunk pretty much denies entry to CP0, but CP0 is like, hey, we're gonna go anyway. Plus, we got this Kuma unit. We could get into this island with Kuma's the Seraphim's ability, S-Bear's ability, which we learn that S-Bear, the Kuma Seraphim, has Kuma's Devil Fruit ability. Right? So I think somebody said that the Seraphim didn't have Devil Fruit abilities, or at least Kuma's Devil Fruit abilities. Because I remember bringing up that before. I remember saying, I wonder if the Kuma Seraphim has Kuma's abilities, and somebody was like, it was said that they don't. Come to find out they do, because that's exactly how CP0 get into the island without having to be at the port. We also learned that the CP0 ship was destroyed by the sea beast, so they have the resolve. Like, they're like, hey, you know, our transportation bag is gone, so we here. We are here. We are about to pretty much start a battle. We also learned that Vegapunk is going to go with the Straw Hats. You know, Straw Hats. Luffy accepted. You know, like Vegapunk asked Luffy, like, "Hey, let me roll with y'all." the world government are trying to kill me. Plus, I want to get this energy, this unlimited energy. But, you know, Luffy, first Luffy was like, why would you want to do that? You got everything you want here. You know, you got your science. But Vegapunk was like, look, world government trying to kill me. That's it. So Luffy's like, you know what? I like your head. You can roll with us. I like your head. You can roll with us. Not because, you know, he's just trying to be a good Samaritan. It's just Luffy wants to be, Luffy's just like, I like your head, so sure. Also, another thing we seen was Kuma. Kuma, the pacifista, the original Kuma, has indeed left the Kamabaka. He used his ability and he pawed himself away from the Kamabaka kingdom. We don't know where he's going yet. I'm assuming he's going to Egghead Island. I also thought he would have took Dragon with him, but that is not the case unless he ended up going back and getting Dragon. But that's not the case. And yeah, we also got CP0. They starting stuff. They are starting stuff. And Rob Lucci seeing Monkey D. Luffy. It's looking like it can be a rematch. It looked like that's going to be the case, that we might get a Rob Lucci versus Luffy fight. And that is the chapter. Yo, great chapter. I enjoyed it. You know, coming from a lot of great chapters, I wouldn't say this is like a 10 out of 10, especially based on some of the other chapters that we've been getting. But it is definitely a good chapter. And it's a good setup chapter, especially setting up for what Kuma is about to do, setting up for CP0 versus the Straw Hats again, or at least CP0 versus Vegapunk. I don't know. We'll see what goes on next chapter. But yeah, that is the chapter, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Comment down below your thoughts on the chapter. Let me know, you know, what you agree, what you disagree with, any theories that you got. Also, follow me on Twitch so you can catch me live. You can engage with me in real time. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And make sure you join the Discord. That is where I'm the most active at. And if you want to send me stuff to react to, you know, Discord is going to be the place. Anyway, y'all, it's your boy, Sean P, the Bluff God. And I'm out of here. Peace.